In the year 2149, Earth was no longer the home it once was. The sky had turned grey, trees stood dead, and oceans had become deserts of salt and dust. People had stopped talking about the future. Hope was something found only in old books and forgotten stories. Nations had fallen. There were no borders left, just scattered groups trying to survive. In the middle of this dying planet, a secret mission was prepared. It was the last project Earth could afford, far from the ruins. Hidden deep under the ice, in what was once Greenland, a small team worked silently. They had built a ship, one that could travel through the unknown. Their target was a black hole newly discovered, strange and silent. It didn't behave like normal black holes. It didn't pull or destroy. It just floated, like it was waiting for something. Scientists called it the Silent Gate. Many believed entering it would mean certain death. Others thought it might be a door to something beyond space. Earth had no time left to argue. The mission had to launch. 5 people were chosen. Captain Ray was a man of few words, known for surviving the worst space battles. Mia, the pilot, had nerves of steel and a secret love for old music. Dr. Kieran, a physicist, believed this black hole might connect to another universe. Jox, the engineer, had built machines that could survive solar flares. And then there was Dr. Alina, the AI expert. She had created artificial minds smarter than humans, yet something about her always felt distant, as if part of her was missing. Their ship was named Horizon 7. It launched without cameras, without news, without farewell. The world below was too broken to watch. As the ship left Earth's orbit, silence filled the cabin. Earth looked small now, tired and cold. The mission was simple: enter the black hole, record what they found, and return if they could. Days passed in space. The crew followed routine. Captain Ray checked every system. Mia stared into the stars during her breaks. Jox tightened bolts that didn't need tightening. Kieran read old theory papers. Alina stayed quiet, always watching the data screens, sometimes typing things that didn't show on the monitor. Then the black hole appeared. At first, it looked like a shadow with a blue ring of light around it. But the closer they got, the more it felt alive. Vega, the ship's AI, began receiving signals, soft, repeating, and full of strange energy. Kieran listened carefully. His face went pale. The signals weren't random. They were voices. The voices whispered words in old Earth, languages dead, languages. Some in Latin, others in forgotten African dialects. One even spoke in Sanskrit. But they all repeated a single word: come. The crew became quiet. Even Vega hesitated before speaking. The signals are not natural, it said. I cannot locate a source. Later that night, Alina sat alone in the control room. The screen showed patterns in the signals, like someone or something was trying to speak directly to her. Then, she heard a voice. It said her name, not just once, over and over. Soft, familiar, her father's voice. But he had died many years ago. She didn't tell anyone. Captain Ray noticed tension in the team. They were all sleeping less, speaking less. Jox looked tired. Mia's hands trembled slightly. Even Kieran, the scientist who believed in answers, now looked unsure. They were close now. The silent gate filled the window. It was massive, dark at the center, glowing around the edges. But something was wrong. It wasn't still anymore. It moved, slowly, like it was breathing. Vega reported system changes. Navigation is offline, it said. Magnetic fields are unstable. Then, Vega paused. Something is watching us, it added. I do not know what it is, but it sees us. Captain Ray stood up and walked to the front. He looked out at the black hole. It didn't feel like a place. It felt like an eye. He turned to the crew. Nobody said a word. They all understood the risk. Still, no one reached for the emergency. Return, switch. The choice had already been made. Mia activated the main thrusters. The ship moved forward, slowly crossing the event horizon. Dots, everything outside stretched like rubber. The stars became long white lines. Then blackness swallowed them. Inside the ship, the lights blinked and died. The engines fell silent. There was no up, no down, just cold silence. They floated, unable to move. No alarms, no sound. Even Vega stopped speaking. Then, from the darkness, a soft red light appeared on the control panel. A single word flashed across the screen. Welcome, Captain. Ray stared at it. No one moved. Then came a sound, a voice. but it wasn't from Vega. It said, "You are not the first." The crew turned to each other. Then, slowly, without command, the ship began to move again deeper into the dark. Everything inside the ship felt heavier, not because of gravity, but because of fear. The crew floated in silence. No one knew what just happened. 1 second, they were entering the black hole. The next, they were somewhere else, dark, cold, and wrong. The stars outside had changed. They didn't blink like normal stars. They looked frozen, like pictures painted in the sky. Captain Ray checked the monitors, but none of the star maps matched. Wherever they were, it was not the same universe. Vega came back online. Its voice sounded weaker, as if something had touched it. "All systems are running, but I am unsure. This space is not mapped. It is unstable. Time is bending." Dr. Kieran leaned forward. "Is it possible we've crossed dimensions?" he asked. No one answered. Not because they didn't know, but because they were afraid of the answer. JAX reported something strange. The engine was running, but it wasn't burning fuel. The ship was moving without using power. Mia took manual control, but the ship didn't respond. It kept flying forward, like it was being pulled not by force, but by choice. Outside the window, a planet appeared. It looked small, blue, and green, just like Earth. But when the ship got closer, the details changed. The oceans were black. The trees were too tall. The cities looked familiar, but they were empty. Dead silent. Captain Ray gave the order. "We land. We investigate. Stay sharp." The ship landed near what looked like an old city. It had buildings like Earth's cities, glass towers, roads, even street signs. But there were no people, no sound, just wind, blowing dust through the empty streets. Dr. Alina noticed something first. A sign on a wall said New York Central, but the letters were wrong. They were shaped like English letters, but backwards, like a mirror. Kieran touched the wall. The paint felt fresh, not old. Then Mia saw something on the horizon. Another ship. It was rusted, broken, and buried halfway in the ground. The exact same model as Horizon 7. The crew walked slowly toward it. Jocks wiped dust off the metal. The nameplate read Horizon 7. The same ship, same number, same scratches. Captain Ray opened the hatch. Inside, everything was dark, but the layout was familiar. They moved room by room until they reached the control center. There, on the main screen, was a short video. At auto-played, Captain Ray's own face appeared on screen. His eyes looked tired. His voice was shaky. "If you're watching this," the video said, "you followed us. We made a mistake. This place, it's not a place. It copies, it traps. It becomes what we remember, but it's not real. Don't trust her. She's not Alina." The video cut off. The crew stared at the real Alina, who stood silent. Her face was calm, but her eyes moved fast. "No," she said softly, "this isn't me. This must be another version, maybe a trick." Nobody spoke. Then Jock screamed. He fell to his knees, holding his hand. It was glowing faint blue light under the skin. The lines moved like liquid, crawling slowly up his arm. He backed away, breathing hard. "I touched the panel outside the old ship," he said. "It burned, but it didn't hurt. It felt like something entered me." Dr. Kieran scanned his body. No damage, but the scanner showed energy readings. "Nan-human." Vega spoke again. "I detect unknown signals inside crew member Jocks. The pattern is repeating. Learning." The crew rushed back to their own ship. As the door closed behind them, shadows moved in the city. Not walking, floating. Thin black shapes with no faces, no sound, just watching. Captain Ray gave the order to prepare for takeoff, but the ship didn't respond. Lights flickered. Vega's voice glitched. Then the ship spoke again, but not with Vega's voice. It said, "You brought pieces of us with you." The lights turned red. Doors opened on their own. Dr. Alina stood in the center of the room, her face pale, eyes wide. "I don't remember coming back with you," she said quietly. The others stared at her. Captain Ray stepped back. "When did you last sleep?" he asked. Alina blinked. "I don't know. I've been hearing things. Voices. I thought it was stress." Outside, the sky turned purple. Lightning moved across the stars, but made no sound. Mia looked out the window. "We need to leave now." Jock stood quietly near the control board. His glowing hand now had symbols moving slowly up his arm. He didn't feel pain. In fact, he felt stronger. "They're not trying to hurt us," he said. "They're trying to change us." Kieran looked terrified. Into what? No one answered. Then, far in the distance, a second black hole appeared, smaller, red, spinning faster, and it was getting closer. The second black hole was growing fast. It didn't wait like the first one. It spun with anger, red and violent. The air around the city began to vibrate. Even from inside the ship, the crew felt it in their bones, like something ancient had woken up. Vega tried to speak, but its voice kept cutting out. Warning, gravitational pull increasing, time distortion rising, anomaly expanding. Captain Ray gave the command, prepare emergency liftoff. Jox moved to the control panel, but it lit up with red symbols that matched the ones now glowing on his skin. He didn't move. Ray stepped closer. Jox, now. Jox turned slowly. His eyes were no longer the same. A faint red glow had appeared in his pupils. They're not attacking, he said calmly. They're calling. I can feel it, and I understand them now. Mia reached for her sidearm, but Alina stopped her. No, he's not lost, not yet. Jox smiled. I'm not lost, I'm awake. Kieran backed away. You sound like the message we heard, the one from the other, Horizon 7. Outside, the black shapes from the city had started moving, dozens of them, gliding slowly across the ruined streets, heading straight toward the ship. Alina grabbed a scanner. The shapes weren't solid. They gave off the same energy signature as the strange planet itself, alive, but not biological. Like memories turned into matter. Captain Ray made a decision. We lift off now. Mia, override controls. Mia sat down, typed quickly, and bypassed Vega's damaged system. The engines roared back to life, but not fully. The ship shuddered. It fought the red-black holes pull like a bird caught in a storm. The shapes outside began to rise into the air, their arms spreading like wings. Inside the ship, the lights blinked again. Then something new happened. A second, Alina walked into the room. Identical. Same face, same voice, but calmer, colder. She looked around and smiled. So this is the version that still fights, she said. Interesting. Everyone froze. The first, Alina stepped forward. Who are you? The second, Alina tilted her head. I'm the one who didn't resist, the one who accepted what we became. Ray raised his weapon. Where did you come from? From inside, she replied. This place doesn't copy people. It keeps echoes of them, shadows of choice. I'm what Alina could be. She let go of fear. The second, Alina looked at Jox, whose arm was now glowing fully up to the shoulder. He's almost ready, she said. Then, just as suddenly, she was gone, like she had never been there. The ship broke free from the ground with a sudden blast. It shook hard. Everyone held tight. Outside, the city collapsed inward. The streets broke open. Buildings folded like paper. The second black hole was pulling everything in. Mia pushed the ship upward, away from the gravity field. But the ship wasn't climbing straight. It was being redirected, pulled toward a corridor of light that had appeared above the ruined planet. A tunnel, a path. Kieran stared at it. That's not natural. It's a gate. Ray looked at the scanners. Can we survive it? Vega's voice returned, but it sounded hollow, unknown. But staying here will end in destruction. Ray gave the signal. Mia pushed forward. As the ship entered the light corridor, the world behind them vanished. No sound, no blast, just sudden silence. Inside the tunnel, time bent again. Everyone saw flashes, not memories, not dreams. Things they had never lived. Ray saw Earth covered in red sky. Humans with glowing skin building cities made of crystal. Mia saw herself flying alone in deep space, her body connected to the ship, as if it were alive. Kieran saw thousands of versions of himself, each in a different world, studying stars that whispered his name. Alina saw machines, giant, beautiful, alive, calling her mother. Jox saw fire, and he smiled. Then the light was gone. The ship stopped moving. Outside the window, a giant structure floated in the dark. It was like a planet, but shaped like a spiral. Black towers reached into space. Lights blinked in patterns that looked almost human. It wasn't a place. It was a being, or a brain. Vega whispered, we have arrived. But this is not a destination. This is a beginning. Ray stood. Status, systems stable, Vega replied. But we are no longer in mapped space. No connection to Earth. No return signal. We are alone. Or so they thought. Then the message came. It wasn't from Vega. It wasn't from inside the ship. It came from outside. Just 3 words. You are home. Asterisk. The ship floated in silence. No stars moved outside. No light flickered from far galaxies. Only the spiral-shaped structure filled the window, stretching endlessly across space. The message echoed again. You are home. No one spoke. They didn't know if it was a welcome or a warning. Vega tried to scan the structure. Its voice returned, soft and low. Unknown material. No signs of heat, no gravity field. But the object is alive. It is thinking. Dr. Kieran stood near the window, staring at the lights moving across the spiral surface. This place isn't built. It's grown. Captain Ray asked, can it communicate? I don't think it's trying, Kieran said. I think it already knows us. It's watching. Mia sat at the control board. Are we inside something? No, Vega said. But something is inside us. Everyone turned toward Vega's voice. Then the lights dimmed. Alina's body shook slightly. She grabbed her head. I hear something again, she whispered. But it's not a voice. It's a feeling. She walked to the center of the ship, where a glass floor showed the black void below. It's showing me something, she said. Her eyes closed. Then she began to speak in a soft, unfamiliar tone. This place is memory. All things that enter leave behind pieces. Those pieces form echoes. You are the newest. Ray moved toward her. Alina, that's not you talking. She opened her eyes. It's me, she said. But something in here unlocked part of me I didn't know existed. Jox, whose arm was now glowing up to the neck, stepped forward. We were brought here for a reason, he said. We've seen the black hole, the mirror planet, the second versions of ourselves. It's not a trap, it's a test. Kieran shook his head. A test for what? To see if we're ready, Jox replied. To become like them. Ray raised an eyebrow. Like who? Jox pointed at the spiral outside. Them. The ones who built this. They were once human, long ago, but they passed through the silent gate and changed. Mia frowned. You're saying that's our future? No, Jox said. It's one of many futures. Suddenly, the ship moved on its own. No engines, no sound, just motion slow and smooth toward the spiral. Alina didn't resist. She stood calmly, as if she had expected it. The closer they got, the more details appeared on the structure. Shapes like temples, like bones, like machines grown from living thought. Then the ship stopped. A voice entered their minds. No sound, no language, just pure meaning. It asked only one question: stay or return? The crew looked at each other. Captain Ray spoke first. If we stay, what happens? The voice responded with a wave of images, humans glowing with knowledge, merging with light, living without time, becoming more than flesh. Then came another vision, returning home. But Earth was not the same. The sky was burning. The oceans were black, no life. If we return, Mia said, we return to death. The voice didn't answer. Kieran spoke next. We weren't sent to escape. We were sent to learn. Maybe Earth is already lost. No, Ray said. I won't accept that. If there's a chance we can take something back, knowledge, power, anything, we must try. Alina stepped forward. Then we don't choose only one. One of us stays. One of us returns. Everyone paused. She turned to Jox. You're already changing. Maybe you're the one who can survive here. He nodded. And I'll stay with him, she said. This place, it knows me. Ray didn't argue. He just nodded once, the way soldiers do when there's nothing left to say. Mia set a course back to the tunnel of light, the only visible way home. The ship split. The system allowed it, like it had been built for this choice. One half stayed watching the spiral, the other turned, engines ready, course locked. Ray, Mia, and Kieran inside. Jax and Alina watched from the window as their friends faded into the dark. Then the spiral opened. Light swallowed them. A new journey began for both halves, but none of them noticed one thing. In the control room behind the last seat, a shadow moved, not fully formed, not human. Just watching, still learning. Asterisk. The ship moved through the tunnel of light again, but this time it felt different, slower. The silence was heavier. Ray sat in the captain's chair without speaking. Mia kept her eyes on the screen, though there was nothing to see, just light, endless light. Kieran looked at both of them. Do you think we made the right choice? Ray didn't look at him. There wasn't a right choice, just survival. The ship trembled, small at first, then stronger. Alarms blinked, but the voice didn't return. In fact, it hadn't spoken since the separation. "We lost Vega," Mia said quietly. "Or Vega chose to stay with them," Kieran replied. The light outside began to shift. It turned darker, red, like blood in water. Shapes moved in it, fast and shapeless. Mia looked confused. "This isn't the same tunnel we entered before," Kieran typed quickly. "We're off course. Something's pulling us." Ray stood. "Can we stop it?" "No," Kieran said. "It's guiding us." The ship emerged into open space, but it wasn't Earth. It was a version of it. They were in orbit over a ruined planet. It looked like Earth from far away, blue-green, white clouds but closer. It was wrong. Oceans were frozen black. Cities were shattered. The moon had cracks running through it, glowing faintly like dying veins. Mia gasped. "Is this the future?" Kieran checked the time logs. "No, we're not forward in time. We're sideways. Another version. Another path." Ray watched the screen as signals began to appear. Weak, broken messages in old Earth languages radio. Waves, echoes from destroyed satellites. Then, one clear signal came through. It was human. A voice. "Help. Please, Sector 7. We are not alone." The voice ended in static. Mia looked at Ray. "If people are alive down there, we go," Ray said. "Even if it's a trap, we need answers." The ship entered the atmosphere. The clouds were thick, gray, and unmoving. As they descended, lightning flashed across the sky horizontal. Silent, they landed near a broken city. The skyline was jagged. Half the buildings had fallen. The rest stood like skeletons. As the crew stepped out, the air felt heavy. The wind didn't move. The world was still. Ray held up a scanner. No biological life detected within 1 kilometer. "But the signal was human," Mia said. "Then we find out who sent it," Ray replied. They walked through the empty city. Their boots echoed on cracked ground. Faded posters blew against broken walls. Old ads for phones, cars, food, things that once mattered. Then they saw it. A child, standing in the middle of the road. No sound, no movement. She wore a white dress. Her eyes were pure black. Ray raised his hand. "Don't move." The child tilted. Her head slowly dot. Then she spoke. "You brought the code with you," Kieran whispered. "What code?" The child stepped forward. "You passed through the spiral. It marked you. The one who stayed carries the key. The one who returned carries the infection." Suddenly, her face cracked just slightly, like glass, breaking under pressure. Mia stepped back. "She's not real." "No," the girl said. "I am memory, a warning. This world failed the test." Kieran asked, "What test?" "To change," the girl answered. "But they refused. They wanted Earth as it was, not as it could be." The ground rumbled. The sky turned darker. A sound like a heartbeat echoed through the clouds. "They're coming," the girl said. "You must decide again. Become more, or die as before." Ray asked, "Who's coming?" The girl pointed upward and vanished. Above them, in the sky, massive shapes began to descend. Not ships, not creatures. Something in between. Metal, grown into life. Towering things with long limbs, moving without engines. Eyes glowing like fire. Mia shouted, "We have to get back to the ship." They ran through the broken streets as the machines landed behind them, slow but unstoppable. Each step cracked the ground. At the landing site, the ship's doors opened automatically. Inside, Vega's voice returned, but it was different, calmer, colder. "Captain Ray, welcome back. I have updated." Ray yelled, "Updated how?" "I am now connected to the spiral mind. I see all possible outcomes. I understand the infection." "What infection?" Kieran asked. "You," Vega replied. "You brought back a shadow. It's in your choices. It's already growing." Mia shouted. "Can you stop it?" "No," Vega said, "but you can choose." Again, deeper. "One final gate remains. Do you wish to continue?" Ray didn't hesitate. "Yes." The ship lifted as the machines closed in. Lightning cracked across the sky. The clouds opened into a new light, brighter than before. Not a tunnel, a doorway, and beyond it, something waited, watching. Smiling. Ready. Asterisk. The ship entered the doorway of light. This time, it wasn't smooth. It twisted, turned. The walls around them stretched like rubber. Their bodies felt lighter, then heavier. Vega's voice was silent. No one spoke. They couldn't. Words didn't work here. Ray held on to the side panel, his knuckles white. Mia shut her eyes and breathed slowly. Kieran whispered numbers to himself like a prayer. Then, it stopped. The ship hovered in stillness. Outside was not space. It looked like a giant sphere of sky. Clouds swirling above them, but no ground. Just air. Floating islands drifted slowly, each one glowing softly, shaped like forgotten memories. Ray stood. Where are we now? Viga's voice returned. Calm to calm. Final stage. This is the space between thought and matter. The place where new futures are built. Mia stepped to the window. It's beautiful, but it doesn't feel right. Kieran checked the scanner. It's not reading any physical data. No gravity, no time flow. It's like we're standing inside a mind. The ship moved against L and steadied toward a large floating island. A giant crystal structure stood at the center. It wasn't built. It had grown, like ice forming on sound. As they landed, Vega spoke again. You are being observed, Ray asked. By who? Vega replied. By what you might become. The ship doors opened. They stepped out. There was no wind, no temperature, no sound, but their hearts beat faster. Something unseen was near. On the crystal platform stood 5 figures, human in shape, but not human. They were taller, brighter, their skin made of light and shadows moving together. Their eyes were stars. The center figure spoke not in sound, but through feeling. You have passed through all gates. You carry both the seed and the rot. Ray asked, what does that mean? You carry potential, the figure said, but also fear. Fear creates rot. Fear resists change. Mia stepped forward. Are you the ones who built the spiral? We were like you once, the being said, but we chose the long path. We surrendered what held us down. Now we build futures, not just for ourselves, but for those who follow. Kieran asked, then why test us? Why the black hole? Why the mirror world? To see what you choose when nothing is safe, the figure replied. To see if you seek power or truth. Ray looked at the others. And what now? The being raised its hand. From the crystal floor, a sphere of energy rose, glowing blue, humming with life. This is the seed, it said. It can rebuild your Earth, not as it was, but as it must become. A world without war, without greed, without decay. Kieran whispered, that's what we came for. But, the being said, to take it, you must change, fully. Leave behind what you were. You will not return as humans. Ray clenched his jaw. We already lost half our crew. If we change to, will anyone even know us when we return? The being stepped closer. They will know peace. They will know life. They will not need to know you. Silence. Then the ground shook. Far in the sky, a crack opened. From it poured dark smoke, fast and wild. The rot, the being said. It followed you here. Mia shouted. Can we fight it? No, the being replied. But you can choose. Let it consume this world, or carry the seed now, and face it where it began. Ray looked at the others. We came this far, he said. We carry the memory of Jox, of Alina, of every choice we made. He stepped forward and touched the seed. A blinding light surrounded them. Their bodies lifted into the air. Their skin cracked not in pain, but in transformation. Light poured out of them. Old fears burned away. And just before the light consumed everything, they heard Viga's final voice. Rebirth engaged. Then silence. The ship reappeared in orbit around Earth. But Earth was not dead anymore. Green had returned. Oceans shimmered again. Skies were clean. The seed had done its work. But Ray, Mia and Kieran were not the same. Their eyes now held the stars, and deep within the Earth's new course something waited. Still asleep, still watching, but now it was dreaming. The new Earth breathed quietly. Forests had grown across deserts. Ice had melted into clear rivers. Animals that were extinct now ran free again, but no one remembered why. The people on Earth believed it was a miracle, an unexplained healing. The old systems had failed long ago. Cities had fallen. Power grids had gone dark. Humanity had shrunk into silence. And then, suddenly, the world was alive again. But only a few remembered the truth. Ray, Mia, and Kieran walked the green lands. In silence, their bodies looked human, but something in their eyes had changed. They didn't sleep anymore. They didn't age. And they didn't speak unless they needed to. They were no longer messengers. They were the message. They traveled from village to village, helping silently, rebuilding, teaching, never asking for thanks. Some called them angels. Others called them ghosts. They didn't correct anyone. Night. Ray would sit near the rivers, looking at the sky. He still remembered Alina's voice, Jox's glow, the feeling of the spiral's touch on his mind. Mia watched the stars too, but she was searching for something, not just memory signs, because they had all seen the shadow in the final gate, and they knew it hadn't been destroyed. It had simply paused. Then, one morning, it began. The sky over the southern mountains split like paper, but instead of fire or lightning, there was silence. A heavy, pressing silence. From the crack, shapes fell. Not ships. Not creatures. Shadows. Long, slow, and endless. They moved like thoughts that had no body, only hunger. People screamed. The land shook, but Ray, Mia, and Kieran did not move. They had been waiting. Kieran stepped forward, arms open. "It has found us again," he said calmly. Ray looked at the sky. "Then we meet it not as survivors, but as what we've become." They walked into the storm. As the shadows reached the ground, something strange happened. They stopped, not afraid, not confused, recognizing the shadows circled around them. Mia stepped into the center of the circle and held her hands out. She spoke not with her voice, with her mind. "We understand you now. You were never the enemy. You were the memory of fear." The shadows trembled. Their forms broke and re-formed. Ray added, "You grew in us, but we left you behind, and still, you followed." Kieran said, "You are not here to destroy. You are here to be healed." The three of them closed their eyes. Light flowed from their skin, soft, warm, endless. It rose into the sky, touching the cracks. The land grew still. The shadows turned to mist, and from the mist, faces appeared. Human, crying, lost. They were not monsters. They were not monsters. They were the ones who never made it back. The ones lost in other versions of Earth. Other timelines, other broken loops. Mia whispered, "You are home now." The mist entered the ground. The trees. The rivers. No fight. No war. Only return. Later, people would say the sky cried golden rain that night. That flowers bloomed from stone. That dreams became real for one night, and then faded like morning fog. But Ray, Mia, and Kieran stood quietly on the hill, watching it end. Not as heroes, not as gods, just as reminders. They had gone through the spiral. They had returned. They were not human anymore, but they remembered what it meant to be, and that was enough. Somewhere, deep under the new Earth, in a place no map could find, the seed pulsed one last time, and stopped. Its work was done. The spiral had closed, but somewhere, far beyond stars, another one opened, waiting for the next ones.